as we're here in the city with the hills and the famed River Lee, we expect a great crowd for what should truly be a clash of giants. It's a rehearsal, if one likes, for the 7th of June appointment in the Munster Championship in Killarney. And everybody eagerly looking forward to today's encounter. Tipperary with a much changed side, quite an unknown quantity. Clare quietly confident, but not in any way overconfident. And those who saw the commitment of last Sunday's Tipperary team will have no doubt that nothing less than a supreme effort will stop this Premier County side in its tracks. Here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh, as the crowd comes streaming in. Still at Páirc Uí Chaoimh, you could be forgiven for thinking that you were at the Curragh or Leopardstown or even Longshaw or Epsom, because with me now I'm delighted to introduce none other than Christy Roche. You're very welcome, Christy.
Great. Thank you very much.
And you were telling me we have to, of necessity, switch to equine matters now, because you rode, amongst others, 10 classic winners.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. Which was the best one, would you say?
The Epsom Derby was got a great thrill of winning the Epsom Derby.
Oh, yes, yeah. And that's the day you rode Secretor to beat Pat Edery on El Gran Senor.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, there was a lot of bookies praying for you that day, Christy.
I should think so, yes.
And I suppose last Sunday's game was the closest you came to Secretor on El Gran Senor since then.
Yes, it was great entertainment, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a real cliffhanger. I mean, the camera was really needed that day.
Yeah, it was super, yes. Super.
You enjoyed it, Christy?
I did every minute of it.
And you're a great friend of Babs, of course.
Yes, we've known one another for 14 or 15 years now, as Babs is a great racing man himself.
Oh, I have met him once or twice on the old track. And you're from Bancha, you were telling me?
Yes.
Just outside Tip, where John Maloney, the referee, comes from.
Yeah, close friend of John's. Left school and went to work for John at 14 years of age, and stayed with John. And the mother and the family insisted on me going to the horses, but with no intentions of going. So I said, okay, I'll give it a fortnight's try, and I'll be back down with John again.
And did you ever do pony racing or anything, Christy?
No, no interest. Never rode a pony. I was the only one in the family. Nothing.
Did you go straight to the late Darky Prendergast, PJ?
Straight to PJ, yes, yeah.
Yeah, he was a great boss, was he?
Super boss, and a father to me, yes.
Great man to turn out 2-year-olds.
Yeah, he was a brilliant man, yes. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He trained things like, what was it, Floribunda, Sixpence, all the fast 2-year-olds. And of course he trained Ragusa to win the Irish Derby, which you won yourself on a cert. Right. And there's a story, didn't you? You missed the ride on a cert in the Benson and Hedges Gold Cup at York, didn't you, because of an injury you got playing Gaelic?
That's right, jumping from a ball, and the ankle went and pulled all the ligaments in the ankles, and it was a costly fall, yes.
Well, any Sunday now that you're free, and indeed you're not free every Sunday, and now more than ever with the Sunday racing coming in, will you miss the old hurling?
I will. I'm not a fan of Sunday racing. I've always been against it. Oh.
Yeah, you'd need one day off, wouldn't you, Christy?
I would, yes, but it'll have to be a good ride before they get me there on a Sunday.
Yeah, well, tell me, lots of the guys that look at our video are not adverse to having an old bet. Anything to look out for this year, Christy?
Yeah, I've got a few nice horses. Watch out for a nice horse called Brusque.
Brusque. Yes. Christy, lovely talking to you, and I hope you enjoyed the game. I hope we beat you, of course, but if we don't, we'll have a chat after the game. Thanks a million, Christy. Thanks. And now, as you rejoin us, the Clare team out on the field, you're looking at Alan Cunningham. The news of the line out is that Micheál Glenn, his ankle injury couldn't stand up to the test. They wouldn't risk him, nor he wouldn't risk himself. He's replaced by Alan Cunningham. That occasions the switch of Gerlach Nan from right half back to fill Micheál Glenn's position at left full back. So Gerlach Nan playing at left full back and Alan Cunningham playing at right half back. That's the only change. No changes on the Tipperary team as you listen to the St. Joseph's Pipe Band from Toker. They're just formed 4 years and they're playing, providing the entertainment today. Referee in the middle of the field talking to his umpires. That's Jerry Kirwan from Offaly. And I see that one of his linesmen is Willie Horgan, the man who refereed the game last Sunday between Limerick and Tip, that cliffhanger that had to go to extra time. The pitch here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh looking remarkably well. when one considers that just 2 weeks ago Semple Stadium in Thurles was unplayable. Today it's a treat to look out on a turf that's in such excellent condition as this one at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. There's quite a crowd here. Down under me the stand is quite packed, and everybody eagerly awaiting this joust between Clare and Tip. And now the Tip team out in the field. You're looking at right full-back John Heffernan. He came on as a sub against Limerick for the injured Richard Stakelum, to whom we send good wishes. And John Heffernan playing today from the beginning at right full-back. And there's Michael Nolan, the young 19-year-old, operating at left half-forward. The Tumivara lad, a great minor of last year. And in at full-forward is Philip Kenny. Philip Kenny from Borrisoleigh. This is quite a performer. Played very well in Borrisoleigh's run to the All-Ireland honours in the club championship. And he's there today. And beside him, on his left, will be number 15, Aidan Ryan, another stylist from the same club, Borrisoleigh. Easy to pick out with his fair hair, Aidan Ryan. Usually operates out the field, but he's just back after injury. Tipperary have a great support here today. A lot more than they had in Thurles last Sunday, strangely enough. They're very confident of winning today's encounter. There's a new air of optimism around Tipperary under the guidance of Babs Keating, ably assisted by Donny Nealon and Theo English. So today's game should be quite informative. There's quite a breeze, but the day, mind you, is holding up well, and if anything is improving, we can only hope that the rain holds off. Tip, prepare for the photograph. I'll avail of the opportunity of giving their line out, a much changed outfit from last Sunday. In goal is Tony Shepherd. The full back line on the right is John Heffernan, full back Conor O'Donovan, and left full back Seamus Gibson. The half line on the right Pat Fitzell, in the centre is Jerry Stapleton, and on the left the captain Bobby Ryan. Midfield is Philip Kennedy and Colm Bonner. The half forwards, at right half forward is John McGrath, centre forward Donny O'Connell, and left half forward Michael Nolan. The full forward line, top of the right is Pat Fox, full forward Philip Kenny, and left full forward is Aidan Ryan. And the Clare line out, showing as it does one change in personnel. In goal is Owen McMahon. The full back line on the right John Russell, full back John Moroney, and now left full back Gerald Loughnane. And as I speak, I see that the teams are beginning to form behind the St. Joseph's Toker Pipe Band for a pre-match parade. I'll continue with the Clare line out. The half-back line. On the right now, and wearing number 17, is Alan Cunningham. Centre half-back is Sean Stack, and on his left is Johnny Lee. Middle of the field is James Shanahan, and the captain, John Calnan. The half-forwards, wearing number 10, is Gerald Loughlin. He's known as Sparrow. That's the last time I'll use the term today. He'll be called Gerald Loughlin throughout the commentary. In the centre is his brother Victor, and on the left is Michael Guilfoyle. The full forward line at top of the right is Cyril Lyons. Full forward Tommy Guilfoyle, and left full forward is Jerry McInerney. A feature of the Clare team, two sets of brothers in the forward line, the O'Loughlin's and the Guilfoyles. On the Tip team you have the Ryans, Bobby and Aidan, and early in the game a photographer fell over. Let's hope that he's the only casualty of the afternoon as the teams go around now, led by their respective captains, Bobby Ryan from Borrisoleigh and Tipperary, and the wily John Calnan from Clarecastle and Clare. And that species now that you see on screen, I think that that's the famous cock from Borrisoleigh. He was their lucky mascot going through, and they won the All-Ireland Club Championship. On the way, they beat Clarecastle, of course, in the Munster final. So today they're hoping that the luck will hold out. I wonder, will he be... And out there now, a man that's very important to the backroom team for Clare, Tom Joe Minogue, gone into the goal. Tom Joe gives it just as unselfishly of his time as everybody else. He looks after hurleys, schlitters, the well-being of players. He's held in high esteem by everybody. And Tom Joe, as I say, an integral part of the backroom team for Clare. And now the teams have broken from the pre-match parade. The players go back into their positions. The St. Joseph's Pipe Band about to leave the scene. Handshakes all round. We hope it's the order of the day. To the field, Colin Bonner and James Shanahan shake hands with each other. John Calnan limbering up out there. He'll be marking Philip Kennedy.
Go to the family of the late Jim Langton.
And now there's a minute's silence for the late Jim Langton, the great Kilkenny stylist, and Yesh de Gorevanam. And we take this opportunity of remembering that today also is the first time that Clare plays a competitive game without their esteemed late president, Michael Gunnar McMahon. The Newmarket man who died on April the 1st was indeed at the last game that Clare played in the league against Cork in Cusack Park. He was a great follower all his life. He was an administrator, a selector. He was chairman of his club, Newmarket, also president. He was a selector with Clare. He was Newmarket's delegate for years. And then he was chosen unanimously to occupy the highest rank in the association in Clare. He was Uachtaráin of Common Lucas Squale and Clare, Yesh de Gorevanam Delish. Navian. And now the cheer goes up, everything in readiness. The way the corner forwards and the Clare team are stationed, they would suggest to me that they're looking for wit. Referee Jerry Kerwin checks his timepiece. Any moment the game would be underway now. James Shanahan and Colin Bonner hush back. Behind them John Calnan and Philip Kennedy, and it's Calnan gets the ball away right in front of Michael Gilfoyle. He looks behind him. He has Victor O'Loughlin running behind him. He gets by Pat Fitzell. Oh, very misdirected pass picked up by Philip Kennedy. He gets it down into the middle. Johnny O'Connell goes for it. In comes John McGrath. Across comes Alan Cunningham and John Russell. A mix up between the two of them, and John McGrath avails of the first opportunity. And there's the first point of the afternoon. 20 seconds into the semi-final of the National Hurling League 1986-87. That's a quick point for John McGrath. John Calnan got the ball from the throw-in. Placed Michael Gilfoyle very well. He looked around twice. He might have gone himself. He was dispossessed. A mix-up between Alan Cunningham and John Russell let in John McGrath. Now the ball in the middle of the field. Flicked on along the ground by Alan Cunningham. Coming in for it, Pat Fitzell, left-handed. He gets it down the middle. Johnny O'Connell comes down for it. James Shanahan and John Calnan in there. He's hooked and blocked. And there's James Shanahan, gets a good ball along the ground, down where Cyril Lyons goes for it. He gets it despite the attentions of Seamus Gibson. That's a good ball dropping in. That's a great point from Cyril Lyons. And that's the equaliser. That's a quick reply from Clare. 1 minute and 10 seconds into the half. A point by John McGrath after 20 seconds. Neutralised now by that point from Cyril Lyons. He got the ball from a ground clearance by James Shanahan down the right flank. Cyril Lyons first out to it, got the ball up and comfortably sent it over the bar. Tony Shepherd's puck out. This side of the field, Philip Kennedy goes up for it, blocked down by John Calnan, cut out by Jerry Stapleton. Pat Fox goes for it, doesn't make contact. John Moroney gets it on a little bit, but in comes John McGrath, kicks the ball in front of him. The angle is narrow. He turns in field, left-handed. He sends it high. I think that one is, yes, it's gone over the bar. That's the second point of the afternoon for John McGrath. 2 points for Tipperary and John McGrath. 1 point for Clare. That one coming after 1 minute and 50 seconds. The opening suggests that we're in for quite an afternoon. I don't know who won the game between Galway and Waterford. That was the first of the double-decker bill at Portlaoise. The second, of course, featured Galway in the football semi-final with the Dubs. Owen McMahon, his puck out, not a very good one, a hollow sound from the hurley. Going in for it again, John McGrath. This fella's playing well in the early stages. He cuts that off the ground to the left and wide. 2 points for Tipperary, both scored by John McGrath. 1 point for Clare from Cyril Lyons. And there's a bit of a Barney down here, down at the very other side of the field. Tommy Gilfile and Conor O'Donovan, Jerry McInerney and John Heffernan completely off the ball, and the referee Jerry Kerwin goes down to make an inquiry, and it would be a pity were that to be the norm for the afternoon now. The ball gone wide down at the Clare goal, and Jerry Kerwin comes out to, he's speaking rather sternly to Jerry McInerney, it would appear. Jerry McInerney, who celebrated his birthday last Thursday. Jerry Kerwin stamping his authority on the game quite early in the proceedings, and now he wants a word with John Heffernan. So Jerry Kerwin letting it be known that he's not going to tolerate any nonsense from any of the combatants now. He's giving a stern lecture to both. Waving the finger rather ominously, and I'd say that there'll be quietness in that corner from now on. Meanwhile, Owen McMahon preparing to resume with the puck out. He strikes it now. A little better than the last one, but just out to the middle of the field. James Shanahan and Colin Bonner. The ball breaks there. In there is Alan Cunningham. He's fouled in a sandwich between Bobby Ryan and Donny O'Connell. Referee Jerry Kerwin awards a free to Clare. The first such award of the game, to be taken by centre half-back Sean Stack. 4.5 minutes, coming up to 4.5 minutes in the opening half. Tipperary favoured by the breeze in this first half. Sean Stack strikes it well. Coming down for it, Victor O'Loughlin. And in there is his brother Ger. Ger flicks it over well there to Michael Gilfile. He might have used Jerry McInerney there. His puck was partially blocked down by John Heffernan. In there now is Jerry Stapleton. Gets it out to John Heffernan. And the right full back effects a great clearance down here. Oh, well blocked out by John Maroney. Coming over for it now is John McGrath. Gets it up in his hand. And he gets inside Johnny Lee. Sends the ball crossfield. John Russell has first run on it now. Pulls on it along the ground. A good clearance. Bobby Ryan first down to it. Cyril Lyons leaves Seamus Gibson to come out. Bobby Ryan's crossfield clearance goes off Philip Kennedy. In there is John Callan. Gets the ball now, and Callan looking for Cyril Lyons. Our clubmate Gerald Loughlin. Gerald Loughlin trying to flick it out to Cyril Lyons. Seamus Gibson breaks up that plan. The ball on the ground. Cyril Lyons gets it. Right-handed across into the centre. There's nobody there on the unmarked Jerry Stapleton. He comfortably sets up an attack. Johnny Lee grabs the clearance, and then right-handed sets up a Clare attack. Michael Gilfile catches the hopping ball. Sends Pat Fitzell the wrong way. And with the ball glued to his stick, the fecal lad is headed goalward. Sends in the ball. Drops it in. Across comes Cyril Lyons and Seamus Gibson. Gibson trying to lift it when it had been more prudent to clear it along the ground. They're waiting for the referee's whistle. It doesn't come. Conor O'Donovan, the full-back, gets it up and makes a good clearance. Johnny Lee puts up his hand for it. Fails to hold on to Donny O'Connell in there with Sean Stack. Gerald Loughlin leaves his man. John Maroney is back there. He's beaten to the pull by Philip Kenny. Out comes Pat Fox. He gets it into Philip Kenny, and he should have been covered there. Gerald Loughlin back. Now John Maroney is there. Philip Kenny has Pat Fox waiting outside him. The ball breaks there to Sean Stack. Back to Gerald Loughlin and into Johnny Lee. Lee gets it in his hand. Makes a bit of space. Left-handed clears the ball down here between Fitzell and Gilfile. It breaks into James Shanahan. He's attended by Colin Bonner. Has his puck blocked down. Bonner tries to scoop it along the ground. His midfield partners there, Philip Kennedy. Their Clare support is very slack there as the ball breaks over there to Aidan Ryan. Moving out there with John Russell. Right-handed, he takes a shot. A dangerous ball. Gerald Loughlin and Pat Fox is in behind him. Across comes Alan Cunningham. Good defensive work by Cunningham. And then he stubs his toe, loses the ball, but John Maroney is there. So too is Pat Fox. The whistle is gone. There's a free out to Clare. A free out to Clare there, and penalised was Philip Kennedy. Not Philip Kennedy. It's Michael Nolan. Michael Nolan, this fella, even though he's only 19, isn't renowned for taking prisoners either. There's a free out to Clare. That was Michael Nolan that was over there. A free out to Clare, just on their own 20-metre line. Owen McMahon, dressed all in blue, takes the free. Not a very good one again against the breeze. Sean Stack puts up his hand for it. Oh, grabs it well. And left-handed clears the ball down this side. Michael Gilfoyle and Pat Fitzell go for it. A rare old tussle between them. Gilfoyle gets it up well. Crosses the ball, looking for Gerald Loughlin. Out comes Cyril Lyons. A good ground ball from Lyons, but there's Ger Stapleton again, afforded a lot of latitude. Left-handed, he sets up an attack, finding his clubmate Aidan Ryan. But out comes John Russell, dispossesses him well. Sets up an attack. Tommy Gilfoyle comes down for it. Waits for the hopping ball, gets it in his hand, gets inside Conor O'Donovan. He's headed goalwards, and he's penalised for carrying the ball too far. I thought that rather harsh, but the referee penalised him, and there's a free out to Tipperary, taken by fullback Conor O'Donovan. His uncle played in goal for Tipperary. In an All-Ireland, I think that they lost to Wexford. His uncle being Terry Maloney, who also played Harty Cup hurling with Flannans. Meanwhile, the ball with Philip Kenny. He's dispossessed well by John Moroney. Moroney gets the ball up in his hand. Hand passes it out to Alan Cunningham. He catches the hopping ball. He's the meat and the sandwich. There are three Tip men there. One of them, Aidan Ryan. Left-handed strikes the ball, and that's a great score for Tip. That's a good point for Tipperary. A point from the left flank, left-handed from Aidan Ryan. A good score, stretching their lead now. 3 points to 1. And that was a ball that should have been cleared between John Moroney and Alan Cunningham. 8 3/4 minutes into the first half. 3 points for Tip, who, as I say, are favoured by the breeze. Owen McMahon once again to take the puck out. This is his best effort so far. Far side of the field, Gerald Loughlin, his brother Victor. Oh, well caught by Gerald Loughlin, puts the ball in his stick. Making room is Cyril Lyons. Oh, he grabs the ball well from the pass. He's headed goalwards, hooked by Seamus Gibson. And then the ball flicked in a little bit. Coming out is Bobby Ryan, and then John Heffernan gets it out a bit. Two Claremen there. One of them, Victor O'Loughlin, gets it in along the ground. Well cut out by Ger Stapleton. Added to by Colin Bonner. Philip Kennedy is there. But John Callan is there also. Callan gets the ball now. Left-handed, he gets it in. Oh, looking for Victor O'Loughlin. Victor missed it. There's Pat Fitzell. Tommy Gilfoyle comes out to challenge. He has his puck blocked down by Victor O'Loughlin. Cleared there by Jerry Stapleton. Out to Colin Bonner. He's fouled there, and there's a free out. A foul there by John Callan on Colin Bonner, and Jerry Kirwan wants a word with him. Meanwhile, Colin Flynn is in to have a look at Sean Stack. Sean Stack seems to have picked up a knock on the back of his head. They're just coming up to 10 minutes gone in the first half. Jerry Kirwan talking sternly to John Callan. There's a free out to Tipperary. Meanwhile, Sean Stack is injured. The referee's attention being called to it. Jerry Stapleton, preparing to take the free, has to wait a little bit. Michael Gilfoyle now gone back on Philip Kennedy in the absence of John Callan, who's now back to do that duty, and out comes Michael Gilfoyle to mark Pat Fitzell. Meanwhile, on the 50-yard line, Jerry Stapleton hits a good free down the middle. Coming across for it, John McGrath goes off his stick. Alan Cunningham comes over. The ball, it breaks there. Pat Fox is going for it, but there's John Moroney, and the full-back flicks the ball out to John Callan. He left-handed sets up an attack out over the sideline. I think that's the first line ball of the afternoon. 10 minutes and 40 seconds into a very entertaining and interesting first half of the semi-final of the National Hurling League between Clare and Tip. A line ball to Tip. They had an hour and a half's hurling last Sunday. Clare's last competitive game was on the 1st of March against Cork at Cusack Park in Ennis. A 7-week delay that lots of people think is too long. The ball now flicked in field. John Moroney going for it. Gets it up in his hand. Very compact gent, this fella. He's been chased by Philip Kenny. Out comes Aidan Ryan. It doesn't worry Moroney. Gets the ball down. Looking for his clubmate Cyril Lyons. Playing well over on the right corner. In to help him is Victor O'Loughlin. Lyons gets the ball on a little bit. Bobby Ryan is there. Gets it up in his hand. He's hooked by Cyril Lyons. Gets a second chance. Knocked out of his hand by Victor O'Loughlin. And Cyril Lyons scoops the ball on in front of him. He's at an angle now. He sends the ball right-handed. And that's another great point from Lyons. That's a great point from his right-hand side. 3 points to 2. The 3 points for Tip coming from John McGrath and Aidan Ryan, and Clare's answers coming from Cyril Lyons. Not a score from a free yet, all from play. Coming up to 12 minutes in the first half. Tony Shepherd's puck, a good one. Donny O'Connell doubles on it well, gets it into the corner. Aidan Ryan snaps it up, and his puck well blocked down by John Russell. It breaks to Sean Stack. Oh, his clearance is picked up by Colin Bonner. This could be another point for Tip. High and over the bar, yes. 4 points to 2. Just over 12 minutes gone in the first half. And every opportunity being availed of here. 2 good scores from Cyril Lyons, 2 good ones from John McGrath, and 2 equally good points from Aidan Ryan and Colin Bonner. Just over, coming up to 12 and a half minutes. Owen McMahon, the breeze quite stiff now, you can see with the flags. His puck out into the middle, a good puck out. James Shanahan and Colin Bonner, it breaks between them. The 2 O'Loughlin's are in there, so is Philip Kennedy. Gets to the far side of the field to Aidan Ryan, foraging deeply. Back there now is Sean Stack and Donny O'Connell. Stack beats O'Connell, flicks the ball to John Russell, and he right-handed gets it down the far side. James Shanahan gathers it well, then it falls out of his hand. He's beaten by Colin Bonner. The ball got on by Philip Kennedy. Out comes Sean Stack, and that majestic way he has it dodging out there. And the referee once again is speaking with Michael Nolan, the left half forward from Toomey Vara. Sean Stack earns for himself a free out, 4 points to 2. Just over 13 minutes gone in the first half. Stack lifts it now. The ball goes a little from him, but he hits it well. Michael Gilfile under it with Pat Fitzell. Fitzell breaks it down, kicks it out this side the field. Gilfile has first run on him though, and gets to the ball before him. Tried to rise it. The ball comes back to John Callan near the sideline. He keeps it in play down to Jerry McInerney. There was a doubt about his participation because of injury. There's nothing wrong with that ball that he centred. Oh, Seamus Gibson blatantly pushed Cyril Lyons there. Tony Shepherd was going to leave his goal. Gibson goes through it now. He's with Lyons. The ball cleared out to Colin Bonner. James Shanahan is with him. Bonner shakes off the tackle. In there is Gerald Loughlin. The ball breaks off Bobby Ryan. Over the far side of the field now. With it is Alan Cunningham. He left-handed sets up an attack. Doubled on by Jerry McInerney. Pat Fitzell is there on his own now. Tommy Gilfile gets it to his brother Michael. He gets the ball out and lets it fall out of his hand. Tommy Gilfile still in there. Conor O'Donovan clears it out a little bit. Bobby Ryan adds to it along the ground. John McGrath puts up his hand for it. Johnny Lee knocks it out of it with a hurley. John Callan ships a heavy tackle there from Donny O'Connell. The ball then in where John Maroney comes out with Philip Kenny. The ball breaks to Sean Stack. The hurling pretty fast here as Stack sets up a clear attack. Gerald Loughlin under it there. Puts up his hand, falls out of it. Cyril Lyons comes in, hooshed off it by Colin Bonner. In comes Jerry Stapleton. In comes the other Jerry McInerney. Now Stapleton gets it out a little bit. James Shanahan gets it. This might be a point. He strikes it high to the right and wide. 4 points to 2. Exciting stuff. Exciting stuff here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. 14 3/4 minutes gone there. Michael Gilfile had a chance there. But you only get one bite at the cherry here. Tony Shepherd's puck out into the middle. Michael Nolan, Alan Cunningham. Cunningham gets it on a little bit. Colin Bonner gets it in a bit. Down to reach Aidan Ryan. He gets inside John Russell, then falls, and as his puck well blocked down by Russell. Aidan Ryan seems to be injured. The ball with John Callan right-handed the far side of the field. It's too strong, I think. No, Cyril Lyons keeps it beautifully in play. Gets it into Gerald Loughlin. Oh, well dispossessed by Bobby Ryan. His clearance down the middle. It goes off Donny O'Connell's boot. Fortunately for John Callan, and he gets it. Pat Fitzell misses it. Jerry McInerney comes out. Clash ball, but there's Jerry Stapleton. He's as free as a bird there. Clears the ball down this side of the field. Pat Fox, Gerald Loughlin come out for it. Johnny Lee might get this. No, in goes Pat Fox on his favoured left. John Maroney there, solid as a rock, flicks the ball out now. But there's Philip Kenny. He flicks it out to John McGrath. Could this be his 3rd point of the afternoon? No, he's going to centre it. No, he tops his shot and it goes to the right and wide. A let off for Clare there. They're behind 4 points to 2. Tip in the lead. Tip 4 points, Clare 2. All the scores, as I've already said, coming from play. Coming up to 16 minutes in the opening half. Owen McMahon once again steps well back behind his goal. Out he comes now and pucks the ball right-handed straight down the middle. Going for it, Alan Cunningham and Michael Nolan. But there's Sean Stack, grabs the ball. He shakes off the attentions of Donny O'Connell. And then right-handed, it gets the ball, but Michael Nolan picks it up. He's coming in field now. Puts it on his stick a second time and strikes it high. And it's gone to the left and wide. That was a good effort. Or that was Aidan Ryan. Aidan Ryan is switched with Michael Nolan. That's a switch in the Tip team. Aidan Ryan out at left half forward on Alan Cunningham. And Michael Nolan in at top of the left on John Russell. A switch on the Clare team sees Jerry McInerney come out to left half forward and Michael Gilfile go into the left corner, where now he completes the line with his brother and Cyril Lyons. There are 2 sets of brothers and the 2 lines of the forwards for Clare. Now the ball now with James Shanahan, gets it out where There is Aidan Ryan all on his own. He strikes it in, a ball that Owen McMahon should have no difficulty with. Grabs the hopping ball, left-handed, gets it down this side of the field. John McGrath and Johnny Lee. McGrath puts up his hand for it. It breaks here to Philip Kennedy. He's joined by John Callanan. The ball now with John McGrath, trying to get it up in his hand. Johnny Lee is penalised. He had no hurley. Penalised for holding there. Johnny Lee pleads innocent. Jerry Kerwin, the man with the cap there, indicates to Jerry Lee that he was hugging John McGrath. And the suggestion would be that it wasn't a term of endearment. It's a free into Tipperary. It's 5 yards in from the near sideline. Michael Nolan, wearing number 12, comes across to take it. The Tumivara lad looks goalwards now, lifts it and strikes it. That's a well-hit free. That's a good point from Michael Nolan. Judged the breeze admirably there. Stretches the tip lead now. 5 points to 2. 17 3/4 minutes into the first half. Tip lead, 5 points to 2 points for Clare. A stiff breeze. The teams meet again on the 7th of June at the beautiful setting that's called Killarney in the Munster Championship. That's assuming the Tip overcome the challenge at Kerry. The puck out in the middle of the field. Aidan Ryan going in for it, hooshed off it by James Shanahan. In comes Colin Bonner, a full-blooded pull down there, and equally full-blooded turned away by Ger Loughnane, far side of the field. Alan Cunningham goes for it now, goes back towards his own goal, and without catching the ball gets it down to James Shanahan. He down the right wing as well. Cyril Lyons first run and Seamus Gibson, and Gibson flicks it out a little bit. There's Ger O'Loughlin and Bobby Ryan. Cyril Lyons out again, giving Seamus Gibson more than a comfortable afternoon. The ball now with Jerry O'Loughlin. He gets it in, but there's Conor O'Donovan, surprisingly, with a lot of room there. The ball pucked down. Sean Stack goes for it, and Johnny Lee. It breaks there to Donny O'Connell. He right-handed sets up an attack. Coming down for it, John Maroney gets it up now in his hand, and left-handed. A suggestion he picked it off the ground. The referee's whistle is gone. He's awarding a free into Tip, and that was a reaction more from a response to the reaction of the crowd more than anything else. John Maroney disputes it, and he's not a man that'll do that. In fairness to him, it's a free into Tip. But John Maroney, if anything, his mind was taken off that ball by one of his colleagues. It's a free into Tip. Michael Nolan dead straight in front of the goal, 40 yards out. He should have no problem in making it 6 points to 2. He does precisely that. 6 points to 2. 19 and a half minutes into the first half. And Tipperary now leading by 6 points to 2. They're 4 points in front. Owen McMahon now with the Clare crowd getting behind their favourites. Tip, as I say, very, very optimistic about the chances of this team this year. Owen McMahon's puck out up into the middle. James Shanahan and Colin Bonner. The ball breaks to Donny O'Connell. He hand passes the ball out to Philip Kennedy. He along the ground into Pat Fox. Ger Loughnane now staying goal side of him because this fella's a kit dog. He hand passes the ball out to Philip Kenny. Philip Kenny ran quite a bit, I thought, there. Got by Johnny Lee. He's headed goalwards now, joined by Ger Loughnane. He's still going through. He loses the ball, and Ger Loughnane gets it. And that's good work by the Fecal man. Gets it up into the middle. Pat Fitzell blocks it down. Added to by Philip Kennedy. In there is Johnny Lee. Johnny Lee gets it up despite the attentions of Pat Fox. And left-handed, he clears it down here. Victor O'Loughlin puts up his hand for it. It bounces off it and then off Philip Kennedy. He gets it in now to Aidan Ryan. They're very alike. He strikes it. Owen McMahon is under it. He picks up a knock there, and it's a 65, but that must be a free out. A knock there from Michael Nolan, and referee Jerry Kerwin is going in to investigate that. My opinion is that this should be a free out. He's going in to have a word with the umpire, who was prompt about putting his hand up for the 65. Yes, a free out is the decision. It's a free out to Clare. They trailed 6 points to 2. Owen McMahon shaken after that tackle by Michael Nolan. He's still been attended to Owen McMahon in there. Meanwhile, John Maroney takes the free. No, he didn't take the free. Colin Flynn in attending to Owen McMahon, and the referee is anxious that the play resumes. And now Owen McMahon, happily restored to something like full health, is about to take the free himself, just from inside his own small parallelogram. He lifts it now and strikes it well up into the middle. Oh, well grabbed there by Donny O'Connell. Gets by 2 tackles. Alan Cunningham is the last one. He doesn't get by him. Then Sean Stack picks up the ball. Gets by Aidan Ryan and right-handed. Feeds the far wing there, looking for Gerald Loughlin. Gerald Loughlin and Bobby Ryan. Gerald Loughlin trying to get it up in his hand. Gets it along the ground instead. Added to by Cyril Lyons. But there again is Jerry Stapleton. Victor O'Loughlin is leaving him very loose in the opening 22 minutes. The ball down here now with Pat Fox on his favourite left. He sends it in. Owen McMahon leaves his goal, grabs the hopping ball. Michael Nolan is after him. It doesn't worry Owen. He flicks the ball out, looking for Johnny Lee, a little bit strong to reach him. But Gerald Loughlin gets it back to the Tubber lad. He tops his shot. It's high rather than long. Pat Fitzell puts up his hand for it. It falls to the ground and it's doubled on by Jerry McInerney. Gets it into Michael Gilfile and he's running into trouble there, but he gets the ball out where Victor O'Loughlin gets it. He has it in his hand now, left-handed. Oh, he finds Gilfile well with a return pass. There are 3 tip men there now. He ships a heavy tackle there from John Heffernan, but Gilfile sends it over the bar, and that's a good score from Michael Gilfile. He's picked up an injury as well in the process. He's holding on to his midriff there. 3 tip men closed in him, and they're slack marking down there on the forward line by Clare, one must say, at this stage. The time, 23 minutes into the opening half. Michael Gilfile, a point from place, 6 points to 3. Tony Shepherd's puck out, not one of his better efforts. Far side the field, Colin Bonner and James Shanahan. The ball comes off once again off Donny O'Connell's boot. With it, Bobby Ryan, a low ball down against, or with the wind. John McGrath goes for it with Johnny Lee. Lee dispossesses him. The ball on the ground now. Donny O'Connell comes in. The ball breaks out to James Shanahan, a bit casual there and paid the penalty. Now there are 3 Clare men there, 2 tip men. One of them, Donny O'Connell. Out comes Gerald Loughlin. Oh, he tops his shot. And coming in for it, Philip Kenny. And he goes through there. He's fouled by Johnny Lee. And the referee penalises Philip Kenny in a similar way that he gave a free against Cyril Lyons earlier. I thought that a bit harsh as well, one must say, in the interest of balance. It's a free out anyway to Clare. Sean Stack to be the taker. Coming up to 24 minutes in the opening half. Well hit free by Sean Stack. Jerry McInerney, doubles on it well. Victor O'Loughlin goes for it. First run and Jerry Stapleton gets the ball down where Tommy Gilfile comes out with Conor O'Donovan. O'Donovan leaves it after him. Gilfile gets it up in his hand. He's headed goalwards now. Not many to aim at. Seamus Gibson is there, dispossessed by Cyril Lyons. He gets the ball in. The referee's whistle is gone, it would appear to me. I didn't see any indication from the umpire. Maybe the ball went out over the end line and wide. Yes, I must presume that that's what happened. The ball went wide. That was a good chance for Clare. 6 points to 3. Exactly 24 and a half minutes gone. Tony Shepherd, both goalkeepers wearing their tracksuits today. There's a nip in the air. The puck out. Down where James Shanahan blocks it down, but there's Philip Kennedy for the breaking ball. He left-handed sets up an attack. John Maroney under it with Philip Kenny. Michael Nolan beats John Russell, and then a well-hit shot by John McGrath, well cut by Owen McMahon down this side of the field. Alan Cunningham going for it, but the referee's whistle had gone. The referee's whistle had gone. It's hard to hear the whistle here. Or was it a whistle in the crowd? No, the ball went out over the sideline. It's a line ball for Tipperary to be taken by midfielder Philip Kennedy. Philip Kennedy, this fellow with Colin Bonner, had a good game last Sunday. He cuts, oh, that's a well-cut ball now. John Maroney blocks it out. Maroney to John McGrath. He sends it left-handed to the left of the post. Owen McMahon unsighted there, and John McGrath had a great opportunity there of putting that ball away. Oh no, Philip Kenny, it was the full forward. Philip Kenny doesn't look unlike... No, it was John McGrath. He switched with Philip Kenny. That's why the confusion. It's John McGrath's now full forward, and at right half forward is Philip Kenny. Meanwhile, Owen McMahon's puck out. Pat Fitzell blocks it down. There is John Callinan. Gets a good ball along the ground near the sideline, out over it. A line ball to Tipperary, and I would imagine to John Heffernan. 6 points to 3. John Heffernan, the Aero Ognina man, cuts it now. A good ball into the middle. Doubled on by Donny O'Connell. There's Philip Kenny going for it with Johnny Lee. Kenny kicks it out, trying to lift it, and he has to kick it again. And then he tries to lift it again, knocked off his stick by Johnny Lee. But in there is Philip Kennedy. He's hooked by John Callinan. Johnny Lee on one knee gets the ball, and left-handed gets it down. Goes off Jerry McInerney's stick. Michael Gilfile is there. Gets by Pat Fitzell. And right-handed Gilfile sends in a good ball. Coming across for it, Gerald Loughlin. He misses it. Cyril Lyons beats Seamus Gibson again. Jerry O'Loughlin is there. He's fouled by Seamus Gibson. A free into Clare. Good work there by Cyril Lyons. And then Gerald Loughlin, a free into Clare to be taken by Cyril Lyons. He's 53 yards out from the Clare goal, fractionally to the left of it, so little that it's insignificant. Lyons looks goalwards now. He lifts it and strikes it well. That's a good point from Cyril Lyons. His third such contribution of the afternoon, the first two from play. That's his first point from a free, and now Clare claw away at a lead that once was 4 points, now is 2. 6 points to 4. Tipperary favoured with the breeze. 27 minutes and a half gone in the opening half. The puck out. Pat Fitzell doubles and it misses it. Colin Bonner catches the hopping ball, sends it down this side, going near the sideline. Ger Loughlin races out and polices it out over the sideline. A line ball for Clare. He kept Pat Fox, cute and all as the name would suggest. He was given nothing in cuteness there to Ger Loughlin. And the wily campaigner who was mentioned by Jimmy Barry Murphy in his article today with Sean Stack as being two great defenders for Clare. Now the ball down here with Victor O'Loughlin, and the referee saw something here with Pat Fox, a foul on John Callan, and referee, good work by referee Jerry Kerwin. I'd say that'll be a free from where the ball landed from the line ball. A foul on John Callan by Pat Fox, well spotted by Jerry Kerwin. And Sean Stack blocks the ball as it's on its way back from Philip Kennedy. Yes, I thought it would be from where the ball landed. Just over 28 minutes gone in the first half. Blood on the back of Sean Stack's jersey now. That he picked up a knock on the back of the head there, and the blood from the back of his head. And I wonder, is this a wise decision? Cyril Lyons coming all the way out to midfield to take this free. Oh, he flicks it into John Callan. The cut tip unawares there. Callan looks goalwards, sends the ball in. Tommy Gilfile is there, and the ball is policed out over the end line and wide. I wondered at the wisdom of that. Maybe if Callan had pointed it, the wisdom would have manifested itself. However, that ball has gone wide, coming up to 29 minutes play. 6 points for Tip, 4 for Clare. Tony Shepherd once again preparing to take the puck out. I'd say he'd try the left-hand side of the field. He does. Colin Bonner and James Shannon await the arrival of the ball. Alan Cunningham is back there. Tries to get it up. It's flicked off his hand out of his way by Aidan Ryan, but in there is John Callan, gets the ball across. Bobby Ryan comes back for it, leaves it to Seamus Gibson. He clears it left-handed down the far side. John Russell out, it goes off his stick, and there's Michael Nolan. He gets the ball on to Donny O'Connell. He was running on well to it. He has the legs of Sean Stack here. This is danger. John Maroney goes out now. O'Connell is bottled up and he's penalised for carrying the ball too far. Good work there by John Maroney. He was decisive in his intention and execution of cutting out O'Connell there. He approached him with gusto, and that's relief for Clare. It's 29 minutes and 45 seconds gone in the opening half. 6 points to 4. Owen McMahon from his own 20-metre line about to take the free. He lifts it now and strikes it. Down between Shanahan and Bonner. Bonner blocks it down well, but in there's John Callan having a good game in the middle of the field in the first half. He's looking for Cyril Lyons. He gets by Seamus Gibson again, and it's a long time since Gibson had such an uncomfortable afternoon. It's a line ball to Tipperary. There's just over 30 minutes gone, I'd say. Jerry Kerwin will call proceedings to a halt and give those chaps chance for a cup of tea as a misty rain descends on Páirc Uí Chaoimh. I'd imagine Jerry Kerwin is going to blow half-time. Gibson takes the line ball, sends it straight out over the sideline again. A line ball for Clare. Jerry Kerwin scrutinises his watch again. I make it that there are 30 minutes and 35 seconds gone. And maybe he'll blow half-time when Alan Cunningham has delivered this line ball. Cunningham cuts it now. He tops it, it comes into the middle. Oh, Gerald Loughlin catches it well, then loses his hurley and passes the ball back to clubmate John Callan, looking for and finding Michael Gilfile. This might be a point. Yes, no, it drops short, and Shepherd gets it in there. Tommy Gilfile dramatically is shipped out over the line by Conor O'Donovan. A good clearance from Shepherd now. John McGrath beaten by Johnny Lee, but the ball now with Aidan Ryan, and he gets it into the corner. John Russell falls. He's in there with John Maroney. The ball makes its way out to Sean Stack. He looking for room to swing his stick. Not easy to get. Then gets it along the ground. Racing out for it. Philip Kenny coming back is James Shanahan, and he gets the ball straight out to the man that he's supposed to be marking. He's well hooked by Gerald Loughlin. Flicks the ball in field to Alan Cunningham, and referee Jerry Kerwin calls for the ball after 31 and a half minutes of the opening half. The combatants getting a generous round of applause. The audience enjoyed what they saw. 6 points for Tip, 4 for Clare. We'll be back with the story of the second half.
Will be shown on video of the 1977 league final between Clare and Kilkenny. Should be shown at the Procol Hall, Broadford, tomorrow afternoon at is replaced by number 20, Michael Scully. Michael Scully, number 20 for Mike Dolan.
It's time going to watch. Welcome back for the second half, just commenced. And John Callinan gets the ball, now doubled on by James Shanahan, gets it into Michael Gilfile. Gilfile's puck blocked down, ball the far side of the field. Tommy Gilfile races out for it with Pat Fitzell. Fitzell gets it along the ground into Philip Kennedy.
Can be collected here at the players' entrance to the field.
Oh, well grabbed there by John Callinan. Hand passes the ball, it goes astray. Picked up by John McGrath. Cleared out by Johnny Lee. Victor O'Loughlin going for it now. Gets it along the ground. Cyril Lyons beats Seamus Gibson. It goes in now where John Heffernan gets it. A good clearance from Heffernan, far side of the field between Philip Kennedy and Callinan. John Callinan breaks it down and follows the ball, then gets a good ground shot in. Michael Gilfile and Heffernan. Heffernan gets it out. Oh, that's a good clearance by Philip Kennedy, but well blocked down by James Shanahan. 2 Claremen go for it. One of them, Michael Gilfile. Gets the ball up in his hand now and sends it in. Bobby Ryan misses it. Cyril Lyons is there. Bobby Ryan goes back. Leaves it for John Heffernan. His clearance comes out to Michael Gilfile. This might be a point for Clare, yes. Six points to 5. A point for Michael Gilfile. A minute into the second half. One change on the Tipperary team. Michael Scully is in for Michael Nolan. The puck out from Tony Shepherd, blocked down by James Shanahan. Victor O'Loughlin and Jerry Stapleton. Bobby Ryan goes back for it, beaten by Cyril Lyons, playing very well. Out comes Conor O'Donovan. Flicks the ball crossfield. Follows it himself now, tries to lift it. Kicks it on in front of him, then gets it on a little bit along the ground. Only as far as John Callinan. He hooks Callinan and then gets the ball to Aidan Ryan. He lifts and strikes without catching. Far side the field, Philip Kenny going for it with Gerlach Nan. Kenny gets it up in his hand. Coming infield, he falls and then flicks the ball in. Oh, too far ahead. And James Shanahan doubles on it. Gets it out where going for it now is Philip Kennedy. He strikes it left-handed. That's a good ball into Pat Fox. But there's John Maroney along the ground. Gets it out where Gerlach Nan goes through with Philip Kenny. Kenny once again gets the ball and right-handed strikes a good-looking shot. Yes, it's gone over the bar. That's a point from Philip Kenny for Tipperary. Just over 2 minutes gone in the second half. 7 points for Tip, 5 for Clare. Clare now assisted by the breeze. Second half started rather suddenly. Caught me on the hop. Owen McMahon with the puck out. That's a far better effort now. And you can judge the breeze from the puck out now. Goes down Cyril Lyons once again. Gets it over the far side. Michael Gilfile trying to get it up in his hand. Gets it on where Victor O'Loughlin is. Gilfile comes out and left-handed. Strikes it to the left and wide. Another chance gone a begging there. Michael Gilfile in at left full forward. Jerry McInerney at left half. Tony Shepherd's puck out now. Up into the middle. John Callinan off, blocks it down well. Bobby Ryan goes for it, misses it. In there is Victor O'Loughlin. Kicks it on a little bit, but Jerry Stapleton gets it out. James Shanahan grabs it and hand passes the ball. Cyril Lyons goes for it. Gets it left-handed across to Jerry McInerney. McInerney grabs it, looks goalwards and strikes it high and over the bar. That's a good score from a pass by Cyril Lyons to Jerry McInerney. Over the bar, a point for Clare. 3.5 minutes into the second half. 7 points to 6. The gap narrowed to a point now. The puck out by Tony Shepherd once again, the far side of the field. Again, John Callinan breaks it down. Going for it there. And getting it is Jerry Stapleton. Clears it out. Sean Stack flicks it on beautifully. Intended for James Shanahan, but Aidan Ryan came in there. The ball now with Philip Kenny. Over the far side of the field, left-handed. He strikes it into the centre. Coming down for it. Pat Fox, it goes out. Michael Scully goes off his hurley. He intends a pass for Colin Bonner. Well taken away by James Shanahan. And then the ball flicked on from Cyril Lyons to Gerald O'Loughlin. Oh, he leaves it after him. And in comes Bobby Ryan. And Bobby Ryan and Gerald O'Loughlin fall to the ground. And Seamus Gibson, rather vigorous there on Cyril Lyons. The referee's whistle was gone for a free out to Tipperary. Gerald O'Loughlin penalised, but then Seamus Gibson, frustrated with the run around he's getting from Cyril Lyons, no doubt, came in there rather viciously when the whistle had gone for a free out to be taken by Ger Stapleton. That's a good free against the breeze by Stapleton. Stack goes for it with Michael Scully. The ball breaks there to John McGrath. He gets it across to Donny O'Connell, trying to lift it. He's knocked off it by Sean Stack, and then Johnny Lee cuts the ball along the ground. Coming down for it, Tommy Guilfoyle, not much in the game. Trying to round Conor O'Donovan, doesn't succeed in doing so. Gets the ball across to Cyril Lyons. It goes back to Tommy Guilfoyle. No room to swing his stick there. He should have used Gerald O'Loughlin. And it was cleared out by Conor O'Donovan, but there once again is John Callinan. Oh, left-handed, he gets a good ball to Cyril Lyons, and the first time he missed his connection. He goes back for it, gets it now, sends a low stinging ball. Tony Shepherd does well to block it down, and then he's challenged by Tommy Guilfoyle, and the ball gone out over the end line and wide. Puck out for Tipperary. They lead by a point, 7 points to 6. Meanwhile, Seamus Gibson being inattended to. Seamus Gibson limping rather badly in there now. He's gone to the ground, and I wouldn't be surprised if Seamus Gibson had to leave the fray. Coming up to 6 minutes now in the second half. The referee's attention being summoned now to the injured Gibson. Tommy Barrett out with a slug from the bottle for Aidan Ryan. Gibson back on his feet. Play will resume with a puck out to Tony Shepherd. And the Kilruan McDonough. Shepherd, the club mate of Seamus Gibson's, takes the puck out. A good one against the wind. Sean Stack blocks it down from Donny O'Connell. It goes to Victor O'Loughlin. He might use John Callinan. Does. Running free. Callinan playing very well today. His best game for a long time. He strikes it, but a wayward effort. It goes to the left and wide. And Clare have missed a couple of opportunities of securing the equaliser. 7 points to 6. Low scoring for hurling. 7 minutes into the second half now. Tony Shepherd once again with the puck out. The breeze just as fresh as it was in the first half. Shepherd now takes it. Not a great one. Running on to Gerald O'Loughlin. He misses it. It comes to Colin Bonner. He's dispossessed by Jerry McInerney. Trying to lift it. Gets it into Gerald O'Loughlin. It won't come up for him. And the ball not running kindly for them today, the O'Loughlins. But in there is Victor foraging. The ball breaks to Colin Bonner. Oh, he gets by 2 tackles, puts the ball in his stick. James Shanahan is catching up with the pursuit. Knocks the ball off his stick. Bonner gets it once again and strikes it high, and that's a good point for Tip. That's a good point for Colin Bonner. Gets a congratulatory tip from Aidan Ryan, and that's a good psychological score for Tip. 8 minutes into the second half, 8 points to 6. Owen McMahon now, the crowd getting behind the teams now. A low puck out, not a very long one. John McGrath's in on Sean Stack. Stack flicks it out a little bit. Going for it now, Donny O'Connell. His puck blocked down by John Callinan. He falls as he's going through. Tackled by Sean Stack, who gets the ball to John Callinan. He's surrounded and there's 2 Claremen loose. Johnny Lee gets it now, gets it up in his hand, tackled by John McGrath. Lee going towards his own goal, but left-handed gets the ball down. Victor O'Loughlin puts up his hurley for it, then gets the ball up in his hand. There's 3 tipmen there, and by implication there must be a Clare man loose. That was Sean Stack. Gets it down, well blocked out by John Heffernan as far as Philip Kennedy. He slips but is in possession. His attempted hand pass blocked down by Victor O'Loughlin. The ball cleared in. Oh, John Stack misses it, but back there is James Shanahan and Sean Stack. The ball breaks to Shanahan. He gets it across where Bobby Ryan, a suggestion that he picked it up. He's hooked by Gerald O'Loughlin. Across comes Philip Kenny. Gerald O'Loughlin back there as well, takes a nasty knock on the leg there, and that's a free to Clare, and that was well earned by Gerald O'Loughlin. Did good work back there. Gerald O'Loughlin, he followed the man there relentlessly, and he's coming more into the game now. The free just fractionally in the Clare half of the field, almost dead straight in front of the goal. Cyril Lyons to take it, 8 points to 6. Tip in the lead, he strikes it now, it looks good. Yes, gone over the bar. That's a good point from Cyril Lyons. 9.5 minutes gone in the second half, and now once again a point between them, 8 points to 7. The puck out from Tony Shepherd now. Down the middle, that's a feature of his pucks out last Sunday and today. Colin Bonner puts up his hand for it, knocked over by James Shanahan, added to by Jerry McInerney. Cyril Lyons beats Seamus Gibson. Tommy Guilfoyle gets it into his brother Michael, and Tony Shepherd leaves his goal well. Coming out now for it, Victor O'Loughlin. He gets inside and taps the ball in, dangerous ball. Shepherd is out again, and then he ships a tackle from Michael Guilfoyle, trying to make an angle for himself, and there's the equaliser. That's good work from Michael Guilfoyle, a good point from Michael Guilfoyle, and now the teams are level. 8 points apiece. I think that's the first time in the game that the scores have been level. 10.5 minutes gone, and the cheer goes up now. Clare, the familiar roar, and Tip try to counter. The atmosphere electric here. Tony Shepherd, 8 points apiece, prepares to take the puck out. He steps forward now, he pucks it now. A full-blooded effort, a good puck against the elements. They rise thread, and getting the loose ball is Donny O'Connell. Puts it on his stick, Johnny Lee is after him. O'Connell still headed goalwards and left-handed. Restores the lead for Tipperary. A good point from Donny O'Connell. They now lead 9 points to 8. A quick reply from the men from the Premier County. They're without Richard Stakelum and Nicholas English today, of course. Michael Scully came on at half-time. They were all casualties of last Sunday's episode with Limerick. The puck out. Oh, Jerry McInerney tries to catch it up, but he fails, and there's Philip Kennedy. He gets it to Pat Fitzell, but in comes James Shanahan. Shanahan looks goalwards and hits the ball in. Well caught there by Seamus Gibson. It goes off his hand. He's been marked now by Gerald O'Loughlin. Gibson clears it up into the centre. There's 3 Claremen there. Cyril Lyons grabs it. Right-handed, he gets a dangerous ball in and flicked to the net by Gerald O'Loughlin. That's a great goal, reminiscent of the goal that Jimmy Barry Murphy got against Galway in an All-Ireland semi-final. A great goal from Gerald O'Loughlin. Cyril Lyons caught the ball, hit it with his right hand as he was down on one knee, and classically Gerald O'Loughlin doubled on it and sent it into the net, giving Tony Shepherd absolutely no chance. A goal and 8 to 9 points, and now the men from the Banner County going to the lead. Just over 12 minutes gone in the second half. The puck out, the ball in the middle of the field. Donny O'Connell falls to the ground. Cyril Lyons by far and away the man of the match. James Shanahan along the ground to Gerald O'Loughlin. He gets it up in his hand now. Renewed confidence after that great goal. Far side of the field. Michael Guilfoyle goes through it. Might choose John Calnan. Calnan makes himself available. Guilfoyle hits it in between his brother and Conor O'Donovan. Conor O'Donovan gets the better of the duel, as he has done all day in fairness. He gets it out, but there's John Calnan again. Flicks the ball in field. Coming down is Donny O'Connell. Gets it out there. Or John McGrath to Donny O'Connell. He hand passes the ball to nobody in particular. That nobody becomes Sean Stack. Flicked on by Cyril Lyons to Gerald O'Loughlin. He's getting inside Seamus Gibson, but Bobby Ryan is back to cover. Gets it into the centre. Jerry McInerney flicks it into an open space, being filled by Aidan Ryan. Lifts and strikes without catching. Batted down by Sean Stack. Added to by Philip Kennedy. Into Pat Fox. Grabs the ball well. John Maroney is there with John Russell. Russell cuts him off. But Fox now has the ball on the ground. Russell is still tussling with him. In comes John Maroney. The ball cleared out here. Alan Cunningham is in there. There's only 1 tip man, 3 Claremen. John Maroney tries to lift it up. In comes Michael Scully. He's fouled on his way in. And that's a ball that should have been cleared by Clare. A free into Tip, it's a penalty. They'll probably go for a goal. 1-8 to 9 points, I make it. 13 and a half minutes gone in the second half. An absolute thriller. Michael Scully going to take the free. Donny Nealon told me during the week he was the best free taker in Tipperary since Jimmy Doyle, and that's a fair compliment to be compared with the Thurles Sarsfield sharpshooter of other days, who now coaches the Laois County team. Scully dead straight in front of the goal, 3 at a minute. Owen McMahon flanked by John Russell and Ger Loughnane. Scully looks as if he's going to go for the goal. He strikes it well and he sends it to the left and wide. It's a wide ball, and Michael Scully will be disappointed with that. A goal in 8 points to 9 points. A big cheer of relief from Clare greeting that. And now, this is a great test of the character of this Tipperary side. Owen McMahon's puck out, a good one. Blocked out by Colin Bonner. Pat Fitzell gets it along the ground. James Shanahan is there doing Trojan work. Aidan Ryan kicks the ball crossfield. Johnny O'Connell goes for it. Policed by Johnny Lee. O'Connell puts the ball in his stick. Right-handed, he sends in a dangerous ball. Owen McMahon is there with John Maroney. Owen McMahon in 2 minds. Pat Fox gets the ball up in his hand now. John Maroney's there with him. A great save by Owen McMahon. Well turned out, and Ger Loughnane gets the clearance, clears it out. But to Michael Scully, he strikes it across the goal and over the bar. A point for Tip from Michael Scully after a great save by Owen McMahon. Was partially cleared by Ger Loughnane to Michael Scully and over the bar. Meanwhile, John Maroney needing attention. Jackie O'Gorman trying to get the referee's attention to the injured John Maroney. Colin Flynn, meanwhile, making his way in with his bag of tricks. And John Maroney is down injured. 15 and a half minutes gone. Oh, this one is as exciting as last Sunday's game. 11 points to 10, Clare in the lead. Jerry Kerwin in a hurry to get the puck out taken. Meanwhile, a sub is at the ready for Clare. It looks like Sil Dolan. I'll follow the play, the puck out the far side of the field. Jerry O'Loughlin and Pat Fitzell, it goes off, or Jerry McInerney and Pat Fitzell, the ball goes off. Pat Fitzell out over the sideline, a line ball for Clare. John Callan to take it. I rarely see him taking these awards. Let's see how he gets on with this one. He cuts it well, a good high ball. Cyril Lyons puts up his hands for it. It goes off it, and there's Michael Gill, kicks the ball in. Tommy Gilfoyle, a goal for Clare. A kick goal, and in fairness, he needed that. The man who gets the All-Star award to replace Jimmy Barry Murphy, and that should do him a power of good, because as I said earlier, Conor O'Donovan was having the better of that exchange, but Tommy Gilfoyle kicked that ball into the net. Sil Dolan was getting ready to come aboard. I wonder who it was for. Tony Shepherd's puck out. Clare now lead by 4 points. Blocked down there by Aidan Ryan. James Shanahan and Sean Stack in there. So's Alan Cunningham. It's flicked on to James Shanahan. The ball now cleared out by Sean Stack to clubmate Jerry McInerney. He sends it in between Conor O'Donovan and Tommy Gilfoyle. Gilfoyle gets in around him, but then Donovan gets back. Gets the ball up. He's playing well, in fairness to him. His puck blocked down by Ger Loughlin, and it's miraculously kept in play. And it's a free out. Ger Loughlin penalised 2-8 to 10 points. 14 points to 10. Tony Shepherd in a great hurry to leave his goal. 17 minutes gone. I mightn't be exactly accurate about the time, but it's just over 17 minutes, I would have thought. Tony Shepherd's free. Out into the middle. The breeze catches it. Putting up his hand for it and getting it is James Shanahan. He gets it onto Victor O'Loughlin. Left-handed Victor drops the ball in, a dangerous ball. Tony Shepherd comes out, grabs it, and then he's very cool, this fella, clears it out, but only as far as Jerry McInerney. He gets it by Colin Bonner, gets it in, out comes Seamus Gibson. Ger Loughlin kicks the ball into Cyril Lyons. It ricochets to Seamus Gibson. Oh, not having a happy afternoon. And Cyril Lyons gets it, puts it on his stick, then passes it out to the unmarked Jerry McInerney. He strikes it high, but to the right and wide. Good work by Clare now. They're having a good innings in the last 10 minutes. They've got on top. Tipperary probably now feeling the strain of the hour and a half of tough hurling they had against Limerick last Sunday. Meanwhile, the referee goes in for a word with the umpire, whatever is in connection with. Maybe his timepiece is not as Oh no, he's having a word with Tommy Gilfoyle. He's having a word with Tommy Gilfoyle and telling Tommy to watch his behaviour now. And the puck out from Tony Shepherd. Conor O'Donovan seems to be carrying a leg, to use the modern idiom. Shepherd's puck now down here between James Shanahan and Colin Bonner. In comes John McGrath, cut out by Sean Stack. John Callan, great bite in his game, gets it over to Cyril Lyons. He hasn't put a foot wrong all day, gets it down to Gerald Loughlin. Seamus Gibson finding it difficult to turn. Gerald Loughlin gets the ball in between cut by Pat Fitzell. He clears it right-handed. Far side of the field, Donny O'Connell goes for it, breaks to Philip Kennedy. His puck is crossfield, and there once again is that bull from Broadford, James Shanahan, and the bull is meant in the kindest sense, James, because it's the Trojan work that he's done. Now the ball kicked in by Michael Gilfoyle, well cut out by Pat Fitzell, far side the field near the sideline, running down for it now, and hand passing it back, and the pass goes astray, and coming in for a John Callan, and that's a well-worked free by Callan. John Heffernan was loose there, and Philip Kennedy tried to get the ball into him. John Callan pursued it and got a free for himself, a free to Clare. They lead 2-8 to 10 points. It's from an acute angle. Cyril Lyons gone across to take it. And Cyril Lyons sends it high and over the bar. The umpire stoops down for the flag. A good point by Cyril Lyons.
Again, an urgent call to the following car owners, 8-3 JPI.
2-9 now to 10 points. 15 points to 10. Coming up to 21 minutes in the second half. The puck out, well added to by Colin Bonner. Gets it into Donny O'Connell. He gets by Johnny Lee, but in there is Sean Stack. He gets the ball over to Philip Kenny. Not so much in it now. After a lively opening to the second half, he strikes that one high into the right and wide. And now Tipperary, I mentioned that they lost their way in part of the game last Sunday. They might be taking the same course now in the last few minutes. Meanwhile, Gerald Loughlin gets a drop out of a smaller than usual bottle from Colin Flynn. Owen McMahon comes up to take the puck out. He made a good save earlier, did Owen. And he's by far the least busy of the two goalkeepers. The ball in the middle of the field, kicked on by Aidan Ryan. Sean Stack blocked down there by John McGrath, and Colin Bonner gets it into Aidan Ryan. He gets it across to Philip Kenny's clubmate, well blocked out by Gerald Loughlin, but only as far as Donny O'Connell. He's dispossessed, and the ball comes to Sean Stack with the blood still in the back of his jersey. Victor O'Loughlin going for it over there now. He gets inside Jerry Stapleton, gets the ball down to Michael Gilfoyle, having a good game as Gilfoyle, and then he pucks the ball, but there was a tackle off the ball by Victor O'Loughlin on Philip Kennedy, and there's a free out to Tipperary, and that's where Clare lost their impetus when they were in an attacking position, and a silly free given away to Tipperary from just in their own half of the field. Pat Fitzell, a fella, or Jerry Stapleton, just in his own half. He strikes it now, he drops it in. James Shanahan coming to it with Colin Bonner. The ball breaks there to John McGrath. He's holding the ball a long time. Oh, he gets a dangerous ball in, but John Maroney is there, cuts it out, and there he is with John Russell. Russell gets it up in his hand now. Right-handed, he effects a clearance. There's Cyril Lyons, grabs the ball, and Colin Bonner came in there with intent. Cyril Lyons weaved by, and then left-handed gets the ball down to Gerald Loughlin. He's been held by Seamus Gibson blatantly. In comes Pat Fitzell, knocked off it by Tommy Gilfoyle. In there is Victor O'Loughlin. The ball breaks out to Jerry McInerney. Jerry Stapleton gets it on a little bit to his clubmate Bobby Ryan. He gets it across. Donny O'Connell puts up his hand for it. Johnny Lee knocks it out of it. Then out comes Gerald Loughlin. Oh, the ball breaks to Philip Kenny. Sean Stack missed his connection, but Johnny Lee is there. And he was drunk for a moment there. Got the ball. Oh, beautiful work from John Callan to Victor O'Loughlin. Along the ground in between Tommy Gilfoyle and Conor O'Donovan. Good work by O'Donovan. He gets it out, but over there is Michael Gilfoyle, and the brothers are there now. Michael Gilfoyle and Tommy Gilfoyle. Conor O'Donovan leaves it there for Bobby Ryan over the far side, left-handed. Doesn't have room to swing his stick. He's blocked down, and the Gilfoyles once again there, and there's a clash of the ash over there now. And Jerry Kerwin wants to get on his bike here. Over he's in, and in fast enough, in fairness to him. I'd say he'll throw this ball in, the first such action of the afternoon. 23 minutes into the second half. Clare 2-9, Tip 10 points, 15 points to 10. Babs Keating looking worried now, comes on the field there. And the ball now with Cyril Lyons, and left-handed he strikes it. Tony Shepherd takes it down from under his crossbar. Weaves by Ger O'Loughlin, but then it's too spectacular. O'Loughlin gets it across the goal to Tommy Guilfoyle. In comes Jerry McInerney lurking on the perimeter there. Well cleared out by Pat Fitzell. Two Claremen. Inevitably, one of them is Cyril Lyons, the other John Calnan. Calnan flicks it out the far side. Philip Kennedy is there with him. And then he leaves it for Ger Stapleton. He gets it out into the middle. John McGrath comes down. Gets by Sean Stack. Now he's headed goalwards. Here's Michael Scully running free outside him. Uses him. Scully catches the hopping ball. Comes in field now. He's there confronted by Sean Stack. Fouled by Sean Stack. There's a free into Tipperary. It's from a good way out, just inside the 50-yard line, 48 yards out from the Clare goal, dead straight in front of it. 24 minutes gone in the second half. Will Michael Scully be content with a point, or will he drop this ball in? He strikes it now and he sends it over the bar. That's a point for Tipperary, narrowing the gap. Philip Kennedy gets a replacement early. 2-9 to 11 points, 15 points to 11. Just over 24 minutes gone in the second half now. Owen McMahon now, and the crowd swelling again with the cheers down the middle. James Shanahan and Colin Bonner. Oh, well doubled on by James Shanahan. Coming back for it, Jerry Stapleton knocked off it by Ger O'Loughlin. Jerry McInerney gets it out to Victor O'Loughlin. He's hooked by Bobby Ryan, but the ball breaks to Michael Guilfoyle, growing in confidence with every minute. And there's another point from Michael Guilfoyle, having a great game over there on in the left corner as he is now. He gave Pat Fitzell a harrying time in the first half, and then John Heffernan from about 15 minutes into the first half up to the present moment. Guilfoyle playing very well as he did against Westmeath and Cork, in fairness to him. The puck out, Johnny Lee, no frills, gets the ball in where Philip Kennedy turns it away, left-handed. There's Cyril Lyons with his hand up for it again. It breaks to Bobby Ryan. He crashes through two tackles and then kicks the ball forward between Pat Fox and Ger Loughnane. Johnny Lee back there covering up. Oh, and Colin Bonner comes in there as if he was condemned. The French second row. A free out to Clare, and quite rightly by Jerry Kerwin. And Shamie Fitzpatrick is getting ready down under me. The ball now, far side of the field, going across for it, Tommy Guilfoyle. And steam gone out of Tip now. He passes the ball back to Michael Guilfoyle. He's been challenged there, and he gets the ball out to John Calnan. They're playing Ducks and Drakes with Tip, and there's a good point from Calnan. His first score, that should do him a lot of good. He acknowledges from the Guilfoyle brothers their part in that. And Michael claps over there as if it was Glenn Hoddle to Chris Waddle. Meanwhile, Shamie Fitzpatrick coming on the field. There's just over 26 minutes gone. Shamie Fitzpatrick, 2-11 to 11 points. Clare, 2 clear goals in front now. He comes on, and leaving the scene is Victor O'Loughlin.
Substitution for Clare. Seamus Fitzpatrick replaces Victor O'Loughlin. Seamus Fitzpatrick.
Shamie Fitz, as he's known, in for Victor O'Loughlin. Victor getting a generous round of applause as a replacement ball comes into Tony Shepherd. 2-11 for Clare, 11 points for Tipperary. I still don't know who won the first game in Portlaoise. The puck out, up into the middle, blocked down by Sean Stack, got on by Colin Bonner. In comes Aidan Ryan, kicks it forward. Michael Scully luckily gets it into Aidan Ryan, and here's danger now for Clare. He hand passes the ball out there to Philip Kenny. Owen McMahon quick to leave his goal. Philip Kenny took his eye off it. Good work by the goalkeeper. John Maroney flicks it out a bit now, and that was danger there. John Calnan back there tries to flick the ball back, and he gets it to Sean Stack. And look at the wily Stack making room, then passes it back to Ger Loughnane. And there's experience. Calnan to Stack to Loughnane. Michael Guilfoyle flicks the ball over this side, cut out by Seamus Gibson. Coming down for it, Alan Cunningham. Along the ground, Alan Cunningham gets it down to Michael Guilfoyle over in this wing. Flicks it in very neatly to Cyril Lyons, and he's dangerous. Philip Kennedy comes in on him. He gets the ball down intended for Michael Guilfoyle. Seamus Gibson comes out, hooshes it out over the sideline, and Gibson now rather Rather uncalled for their action by Seamus Gibson with Michael Guilfoyle, one must definitely say. And fair play to Babs Keating, he takes Gibson away. Gibson has had a very trying afternoon. He's not used to getting the run around as he has done from Cyril Lyons and later from Gerald Loughlin. The line cut by Bobby Ryan into the centre. Going for it there is Donny O'Connell, and he did an hour and a half tough hurling last Sunday. He's a wholehearted player, gets that along the ground, well caught by Pat Fox, can't get inside John Maroney, loses the ball. Michael Scully comes in for it. Is Philip Kenny running outside him, or Donny O'Connell uses him, but out comes Ger Loughnane. John Russell and John Maroney are in there, and then Ger Loughnane was knocked to the ground there, and there's a free out to Clare. And Tipperary, despite the peril of their situation, if they persist in using these tactics, their position will be worsened rather than improved. 2-11 to 11 points. Owen McMahon leaves down his stopping hurley, as it were, to get his pucking out one. 29 minutes gone in the second half. 2-11 to 11 points. Should Galway have beaten, well, whoever won in Portlaoise, the final will be in Thurles Simple Stadium this day 2 weeks. The crowd from Clare will be there in their thousands. The ball with Jerry McInerney, he beats Bobby Ryan. Pat Fitzell retrieves it, gets it in his hand, and then flicks it along the ground. But there's Cyril Lyons once again. Philip Kennedy, wholehearted, left-handed, gets it along the ground. Michael Scully making a difference since coming on, puts the ball in his stick. Now is Philip Kenny running inside him with Colin Bonner. Ger Loughnane comes out, fouls him, and there's a free into Tipperary, and Jerry Kirwan will have a word with Ger Loughnane. That was a kind of a trip, in fairness now, and Ger Loughnane isn't noted for those efforts. 2-11 to 11 points. I have no doubt that Tip will drop this one in around the parallelogram. The crowd is gathering in there already. Michael Scully to be the taker. 2-11 to 11 points. Oh, he drops it in now the far side. Oh, he finds John McGrath unmarked. He took his eye off the ball for a second, and Sean Steck got it away. With it now, Bobby Ryan down at the Clare goal line, and he brings it out over it. A wide ball, but Jerry Kirwan has blown his whistle. He's awarding a free against John Maroney for a push on Bobby Ryan. I think I make it now that the time is up. I make it that the time is up. Cyril Lyons stands over the ball as Michael Scully comes over to take it. He's to the left of the post. That doesn't matter. He's bringing in a little bit now. He'll go for a goal now. There's only John Russell in there with Owen McMahon, and they want to be less casual, Clare, now in their preparation. Yes, Jerry Kirwan orchestrating everything. Scully lifts it now, strikes it a low ball, and well turned out by Owen McMahon, but turned back into the net there by, I think, Philip Kennedy. Philip Kennedy or Pat Fox. Was it Pat Fox? It was one of them, but I'd say that'll only make the score more respectable. 2-11 to 1-11. I make it that time is well up. The referee, Jerry Kirwan, is looking at his watch. We are definitely in overtime. It may have been Pat Fox that got that goal. And Jerry Kirwan scrutinising his watch now. The ball goes off Colin Bonner's hand into Jerry McInerney's. He strikes it high, but it's gone to the right and wide. Once again, Jerry Kirwan looks at his watch. I'd say full time will greet the puck out. Tony Shepherd, just Jerry Kirwan calling for the ball, and Clare have qualified for the National League final. 2-11 to 1-11. A victory for Clare. The participants shaking hands all around. They'll know each other before we're well into the summer, these two sides. They play in the Munster Championship, as I say, contingent on Tipperary beating Kerry. They will meet on the 7th of June in Fitzgerald Stadium, Killarney. They'll know each other. That was a tough encounter down there. Clare emerged victorious, 2-11 to 1-11. They got completely on top 10 minutes into the second half. A great round of applause for the two teams now as they leave the scene. Tommy Guilfoyle, meanwhile, being attended to down there, and his brother Michael portraying the brotherly love aspect of modern life in to see that Tommy is all right. Man who needs no introduction to Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Johnny Clifford. I think you got the winning goal in the 1954 All-Ireland, was it?
Bit far back to remember, but yes.
Yes, I remember that.
I was looking it up.
I was listening to it in my sick bed. Well, you're the coach to the very successful Cork team, Johnny. How did you rate today's game?
Well, I enjoyed it because obviously when you're neutral you can enjoy a game better than being involved. I thought a tough, dour game. I thought, if I had to be honest about it, I thought both teams were very tense. And
yes, I thought that myself.
I think their hurling is much superior than what they show today, both sides.
The ground, while it looked in excellent condition, I'd say it took its toll, particularly on tip.
Well, obviously, it's a soft enough ground at the best of times, and with the rain overnight, you could see that from the way the game went, that there was a lot of bunching and the ball wasn't travelling, and fellas had to get it into their hand, realistically, to move it. And, you know, as I say, I felt that both teams were very tense on the day, especially Tipperary.
Well, like, our last competitive game was on the 1st of March against Cork in Cusack Park. That was 7 weeks ago. Do you think the thing is a bit unwieldy, Johnny?
Well, I would, you know, we just said, we had a selection committee meeting ourselves just there, and we said that Clare should improve a lot for the game. They should improve a lot. 7 weeks is a long time, and obviously there's something radically wrong with that kind of a situation when you can have
3 games in
6
December.
Games, yeah, exactly, and have no game for 7 weeks when the weather starts to come good.
It is nearly longer than the close season, isn't it?
Well, it is, realistically. You know, the close season is about 8 or 9 now at the moment. 7 weeks is a long time.
It needs looking at. Well, now, even in view of the fact, I suppose, that you could look at Tipperary's exertions against Limerick last Sunday in 2 ways. They had an hour and a half of the toughest hurling I've seen for a long time. Now, there might be a consideration that it told on them in the last 20 minutes today. But then, I mean, you could look at it from the other perspective, that they were on a high as well, couldn't you?
Well, I wouldn't agree that last Sunday's game should have done Tipperary good. It should have done them with the hour and a half. That's better than 3 or 4 nights training. I wouldn't agree at all that it harmed them in any way. It should have brought them on. But Clare, to their credit, kept battling away and got the lead and never looked like losing that.
Did you think that you were lucky in the Munster final last year?
I wouldn't say lucky, no. I thought like that Clare play. I'll tell you something. I went to Ennis last year to see Tip and Clare, and I came away thinking that we were a certainty, quite honest about it. But the team that we played in Killarney were a totally different Clare team. They had improved 100%. I wouldn't call us lucky. I thought we played very well at times, got on top, but Clare, to their credit, came back and, you know, we just held on.
Well, you wouldn't exactly be doffing your cap at us this year. You never do to anybody. But you treat us with a little more respect, I'd say.
Well, you know, I don't know if anybody ever treated any county with disrespect. I certainly don't.
Well, finally,
I certainly don't.
Finally, Johnny, I couldn't be in Páirc Uí Chaoimh and talking to the coach of the Cork senior hurling team without mentioning Jimmy Barry Murphy. He must be an inestimable loss to you.
Well, I think, you know, only time will tell that, but obviously you can't afford to lose players like Jimmy Barry Murphy. Any county can't. But on saying that, they have to go sometime. If he got an injury, or if he just left the country, we'd have to do without him. I don't want to do without him, but we have to. We'll just have to wait and see.
He adorned the game for a long time, and I'm sure that you'd wish him every enjoyment in his retirement.
Well, he knows that. We've already got together, and he knows the way I feel about him as an individual and player.
Yeah, well, looking forward to seeing you in Killarney again this year, Johnny, in July.
Hopefully.
Maybe we'll have a few words
then. I don't mind who we meet as long as we're there, but we have to get over Limerick and Waterford too, you know.
Thanks very much, Johnny. Thank you. The midfielders. I was referring to the brothers today. Now we have the midfielders, James Shanahan and John Callinan. James, you're making your debut on the video. You're very nervous. But I know you'd like to say hello to the troops in Bradford and Bridgetown.
in Bradford.
You came into the game with a bang in the second half. You had a great second half, the two of you.
We needed to badly. We thought the conditions were very tough there, in the middle of the field especially. I did anyway, but about Kel. He seems to be a lot fitter than me at the moment.
Was the ground very holding?
It was, yeah, especially in the second half. I found it terrible anyway.
And was it a tough game to play in?
It was. You got very little time to pick it. I found the times that I was hitting the ball on the ground that I should have picked and trying to pick the one that I should...
Yeah, I thought there was only one chance. But of course, that's a feature of Tips hurling. You only get one chance at everything.
That's right, yeah.
Well, you wouldn't have any fears of Galway now, whom I believe beat Waterford.
No, not at all.
Yeah, safe to say the cut us on the hop in the league game there before Christmas, didn't they?
Sure, take the first 5 minutes out of it and we were just as good as them.
Yeah, well, you would be looking forward to the championship this year, James.
Well, if I'm still around.
Yeah, well, you're very modest, of course, and if the Lord...
All Bradford people are.
Yeah, if the Lord leaves you Well, I'll tell you something, there's a few that's only barely around as a result of them Bradford fellas. I couldn't resist that one. Well, you stepped in when I suppose we better refer to him now as Mr. Kellnan, wasn't available at times. You stepped in the role of captain. That seemed to suit you, did it?
It did, sure. Anyone that can step into Cal's shoes to suit him, you know.
Yeah. You don't call him sir, do you?
At times.
At times. James, thanks very much. I know that you want to get a cup of tea and a sandwich or things like that. Well earned. And now if I can turn to the same Mr. Kellnan. You weren't very vain, of course. You had to polish yourself up for this interview. You don't like, I think, was it your mother or Siobhan that gave out to you the last day that you were in a state of dress that wasn't for, might have been all right for radio, but certainly not for a family video.
Well, it's true. I even shaved today, in case you didn't notice.
Well, on the serious side, you had a great game today.
Yeah, I don't know, really. I felt I was struggling at times, maybe to stay with the pace of the game. Maybe the ball came to me rather than I chasing it all that much. I felt, I hit a certain amount of ball, but I didn't feel that terribly satisfied about it. I'm not being like the Broadford man now, being fierce modest. Modesty was never our strong point in Clare Castle, as evidenced by the Sparrow putting up his hand before he even saw it hitting the back of the net. But I suppose it went reasonably okay for us at centre field. Again, Shannon tends to, James tends to maybe play himself down a bit. He's a great midfield partner. He's always around the middle of the field. I mean, if you look...
Yes, he's a great worker.
Yeah, if you look, he's available, he's in there fighting. He connected on one brilliant double air ball today, which was vital for us. We did reasonably well, I thought, at centre field all through, even though we were under a certain amount of pressure. I thought we were under, in fact, more pressure in the first half because of the wind, but I enjoyed it.
I thought you made yourself available very well out on the flank, and if I were to look for one particular reason, I'd say that it was one on the flanks by staying, you added width to your play.
Well, Martin McHugh, I think, has to take a certain amount of, a lot of credit for that. I mean, he wants us to play an open, as they would say in rugby terms, expensive game, and play it, make full use of the field. And that obviously involves playing it to the wings at times and then crossing it or whatever. So, that wasn't totally accidental, I would suggest.
Yeah, and hasn't Michael Gilfoyle improved with every outing?
Yeah, Mike has been a revelation really since Christmas, I suppose. Is it? Yeah, since Christmas. He's really got better, I think, every match. He's adjusting, I think, all the time to the pace of inter-county. And when he gets it up and when he turns in his right hand, he has a very good shot, both on the run and from a standing position. He got some great scores today, yeah.
Well, John, this campaign started as far back as the 12th of October down in Wexford. It's a long trek, and the only ones to lower the colours were Galway. But as I was saying to James, it was a kind of an artificial result, wasn't it? Would you have any fears of them? I know you'd respect them, but you wouldn't be in awe of them.
No, I don't think we know them too well. I mean, we played them in a lot of challenge matches and opening of fields and tournaments, etc. So, you know, Galway, if they're up, are never any great threat to us, and I don't think they ever treat us to be terrible, with a lot of respect, even no matter how up we are. I think it'll be a close, tough match. Yeah, I think the first 7-8 minutes of the match in Ennis was a bit unreal, and after that it was tit for tat, but you know, we still have a bit to do from that match, and I would treat them with respect. I mean, they have been very consistent over the last 12-18 months. They have a lot of good players coming through. I think we'd have to step up. In fairness, I think we'd have to step up on today's performance a good bit. Well,
it is nice to look forward to the next fortnight when we'll be talking about something other than cutbacks. Thanks, Jan.
Okay.
Well, a man I didn't see for a long time on video, my friend the Joke here. There was kind regards sent to him from a schoolmate of his last Sunday. You must be quite thrilled with the performance today, Joke.
Fairly no, Aidan. I wasn't overall too happy with it because, I mean, if you analyse the game, we struggled for 3/4 of the game, and one stroke of genius by Sparrow changed the trend of the game, and we sort of got on top then, but I wouldn't have been over excited about it now, really, to be quite honest.
It was a great goal, that, wasn't it? I described it in the thing as being like the one that Jimmy Barry Murphy got against, I think it was Galway, one year in an All-Ireland semi-final. It was, as you say, a stroke of genius. But when they came into the game, when they got on top, they really got on top, didn't they?
Well, they did, but you always find with a team like this on top, and they just come on top, everything seems to go right for them then. But we struggled for long periods of the game, but I expected it. This game I was looking forward to it all. with Tipperary, because of the fact that if you go back in tradition, no matter how good Clare have been down the years and how bad Tip have been, it has always been a very, very close contest. Like, and I was delighted like that the actual match ended where it ended, like, because let it go on for another 5 minutes and we could have had a second encounter, because it was one of those games we'd have been defending like mad.
But psychologically, do you think there's a great boost for the championship, or do you look at these things in that vein? Do you think that it'll keep our fellas on the boil? And it obviously has set Tip back a bit. I was in their dressing room afterwards now, and mind you, there was nobody singing Shleve No Man in there anyway, I can assure you.
But we wouldn't have been singing Spencer Hill either, like, you know.
Well said, joke, fair play to you.
So, I mean, you have to take it as it comes. If we were beaten today, like, I mean, you have to look at the realism of the situation. If we were beaten today, we'd have to have naturally pick ourselves up for the championship to probably give us an extra bit of bite coming into the championship, knowing that we'd have to perform. I'd say it will probably spur Tip to greater heights, but in turn we have got to be big enough to achieve greater heights as well toward the end of the championship. There's a fellow out in Tulla by the name of Pat Danner, who you're well aware of, and I always quote his saying, being like the championship is like the day of general judgment. You've got 170 minutes to perform and that's it, and after that the rest is history. Yeah.
He does great chatting with a man not unknown to you either, a Mr. O'Brien out there. And himself and Pat Danaher take every game asunder on a Monday morning. I don't think either of them is at the creamery, but they're in the area of it, you know. But by God, they fairly clinically analyse the thing.
Yeah, the both have words at will, and it's always a pleasure, like being in your own company. Like, there's always a light-hearted moment, which is very important to her.
But Micheál Glynn's loss didn't throw the thing out of gear in as much as Ger is used to playing at cornerback, and Alan slotted in there well at wing back.
Yeah, he definitely was one of our best players in the backs in the earlier matches of the league. He's an enormous loss to the team. Hopefully he will be in contention for a place for the team for the final. But I mean, the fellas that performed there today, I mean, the one objective that we had when we started originally was to have a panel and team strong enough, not just your 15, but 18, 20, 22 and 25.
Oh yes, I'm a great believer in the panel.
And as you're probably aware of, like in the practice games, like for instance last Thursday evening, like we had a match like that possibly was nearly equally as hard as that there, and if a fella gets injured, he gets injured, and that's it. You have another fella to take his place. So there's no fella complacent, like the very same as somebody will take my place in a very short period of time.
Well, in conclusion, the fact that when there's a player unavailable, that you can slot somebody in without changing the whole team, as was the case some time ago. You know, you'd make 6 changes in order to accommodate one change. It's a blessing that that's gone. I'm a great believer in, as far as possible, a straight switch. Are you?
Yeah, try and as much as possible not ruffle the remainder of the team by trying to fill a position. Like, you're just trying to fill a position that is a problem. But I would say there's a lot of credit due to the background team, like between Jackie and Father Harry and Colm and Martin. Like, I mean, they're all shrewd judges of the actual thing in their own fields, and we all help out in a particular situation, and we balance up and try and get a proper even level that the fellas can hurl within that, and we also can do our job within that, and hopefully, like, at the end of the day, like, that achieve success. So far it hasn't been bad.
Equally hopefully, I hope that I'm talking to you 2 weeks from today in Semple Stadium. Thank you, Seamus.
Thank you very much, Edmund.
Well, that's the second last act. The final act is this day 2 weeks in Thurles, and we're in yet another league final. Our opponents, our neighbours, Galway. There'll be nothing neighbourly about the exchanges, and we hope, as usual, to bring you the story of that league final. So from Michael O'Sullivan and myself, bye-bye from Páirc Uí Chaoimh.